Alrighty, people. A lot to talk about in the last 24 hours. So many pieces of news that will impact fantasy rankings, that will impact week 6 and beyond, rest of season rankings, etc. We appreciate you guys for being here with us, for hanging out. We will be answering your fantasy football questions on today's stream. As many as we can, we'll get to them. Literally as many as we possibly can on today's stream. We're going to get to them. So I appreciate you guys for being here with us. Do us a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button to show some love. Got a like goal today of 50 or 75 likes is what I meant to say. 75 likes. So help us get there. With your help, I know we can do it. First things first, I'm the realist. If you plan on donating today, definitely go check out our website. If you're planning on doing a super chat or whatever the case may be, go check out the website. It is a better experience for you. It's a better experience for us. We will start today's stream with website questions. In fact, every stream from here on out, the first questions that will be answered are any questions that are on the website. The link will take you to a website that looks like this. You can ask a start sit. You can ask a trade question. You can get a team review. If you haven't linked your teams, I definitely would suggest linking your teams. And if you don't have an account yet, you can get a free account by using the promo code LAND, L-A-N-D. You get access to consensus expert rankings for rest of season, for dynasty, for week 6. You'll get access to the league analyzer. If you don't know what sort of league are you in? Sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo. If you're in one of those formats, you can link your team. And by the way, I would suggest linking your team before asking a question. It just makes it easier for you. You can also use the trade finder to find trades in real leagues that are happening. You can use a trade calculator. Again, all free just by using the promo code LAND. Rudy, we do support ESPN. So we actually have thousands of people who are linking with ESPN. So definitely go to our Discord and the site issues tab and ask our developers about that, because we are already synced with ESPN, my friend. But I appreciate you being here and asking that question. But let's start off with some news, okay? Because there is definitely some news that has happened recently that everyone should be aware of. Number one, Derek Carr is expected to miss multiple games. And in my humble opinion, this is really bad for Olave, but I actually would argue it's worse for Shaheed. I don't know about you, but to me, there was just this mind meld between Derek Carr and Shaheed. I don't know how you replicate that with a backup. A lot of those are deep balls. That is like multiple reps in practice every single day, back and forth, hitting the deep ball. And that's just difficult to see that being replicated every single week with a backup. Clearly, Olave is going to be drastically impacted, but so will Shaheed, in my opinion. Both of those guys are not startable players this week, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And if anything, this is a good buy low opportunity for everyone on the Saints. I kind of said that on the Fantasy Shorts channel, saying that go buy for. I said Alvin Kamara because I know a lot of people were panicking on the Derek Carr news, but that might be a little bit more difficult than Shaheed or Chris Olave. But I agree. I think we're going to see a big drop in production of Shaheed. And look, at the end of the day, Shaheed, outside of, I would say, this couple of weeks, he was just more of a deep ball threat, hoping for those 1 to 2 targets, but not anymore. That's what I'm saying. Not outside of these past 2 weeks. I don't know if we can say that anymore.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like in the last 2 weeks, like, he really established himself as a must start. With the amount of times Derek Carr was targeting him, if Derek Carr was playing this week, he'd be a must start for me moving forward. So yeah, I mean, to add on to what you're saying, it's kind of sad because he really was like breaking out in his 3rd year, which is so weird. And a not highly drafted player at all, still the draft type name and balling out in his 3rd year, but drastically have to lower expectations now.
I would say this, like, if somebody's panicking and is in need, like, let's say Shaheed is on a team that's 1-4 or 2-3, and they's like, I need to win now, and you're in above 500. Shaheed is somebody I'm going to go out and try and target. Chris Olave is somebody I'm going to go try out and target on a team that needs a win now. However way you can do that, that's what I would do. But yes, I agree. I think his upside is going to be everyone at team's upside is going to be lowered which is terrible.
Unfortunate, but it's the reality. Drake May is going to start in week 6. My prediction was week 5, so I was a week late. But, I mean, I just thought it made more sense to start versus Miami. You're now starting him versus Houston. That's a tough defense to make your first start against. But, okay. So, they decided to make week 6 the week that they start Drake May. Badaki and I drafted a lot of Jalen Polk. We will talk about him in a video this week. I would be looking at buying low on Stevenson. I'd be looking at buying low on Polk as a throw-in. I would be rostering Hunter Henry to see what happened, to Mario Douglas, just to see if this offense completely changes with him. If he is that dude. I mean, think about what you thought about Terry McLaurin before the season. You're like, it's all right. But we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, anything can happen with Drake May.
I was going to say, it took Jaden Daniels like a couple of...
he was playing well, but he wasn't targeting Terry.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't going crazy in the fantasy relevant way. But like, if Drake May probably won't have his best game this week, he probably won't have his best game the week after.
He won't.
But like, it's gonna take him time. Give him about three games. Think of it as preseason, right? You get into preseason mode. He hasn't played. Give him 3 to 4 weeks, and then that's exactly what you could potentially be seeing him really take off here in the coming weeks, maybe against Chicago in week 10 or in Tennessee in week 9. That can be interesting. So keep that in mind.
All right, Rashee Rice is going to miss the rest of the season. But it is good news if you own him in Dynasty. It's an LCL. ACL is intact. The MCL is intact. So that is better news than a torn ACL. I mean, he should be recovered, ready to go week 1. Now, of course, he has off-field issues that he'll have to deal with, but if you own him in Dynasty, I feel like that is very good. Aaron Jones is considered week to week with that hip injury. I've seen this story many times, though, with Aaron Jones. I would not be surprised if week to week ends up being 4 weeks, but I do obviously hope he comes back quick, because that offense is not the same without him, and he is a superstar. I mean, he looked so damn good. And obviously the big news is that the Jets fired Robert Saleh. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because everyone's probably already heard a lot of takes, but just personally for me, this doesn't change much. I've seen a lot of people, because we just released the start sit videos, I've seen a lot of people say, well, now Breece Hall is going to go off, and now everything's going to be better with this offense and this and that. And, you know, I hate to tell you guys, but Robert Saleh had zero impact on the play calling for the Jets. Robert Saleh had no control over this offense. He had no impact on this offense. Quite frankly, he had very impact on the team. So, if you're expecting the Jets to completely change, sure, it could happen. But the same play caller who's been calling the plays for 2 years now is still in the building, and that is Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett is a person you should be upset about. Nathaniel Hackett is a person that you should want fired. So, with all due respect, I'm not sure much changes with this offense. They could get better. It's still just early into the season. They could get on the same page as games, progress. But I don't think this means that now Breece Hall is going to get 30 touches a game or something. I've seen a lot of people in our start sit videos be like, well, this is the week because Saleh's gotten it. Doesn't matter to me. Am I not reading that right? Do you disagree, Badaki?
No, I completely agree. I kind of thought that this fire was kind of pointless. Like, maybe you're probably saving money if you fire him in some way.
You're losing money, actually.
Exactly. So what was the point of firing him unless there was a huge turmoil between him and Nathaniel Hackett? But at the same time, he has no control over the play calling. So it's like, I don't understand the reasoning behind it unless they once again, there was a big argument. They didn't see it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is a must-win game in a lot of people's eyes. This Jets team is essentially all in, and if they don't make it at least to the playoffs this year, it's like, man, what a waste of time. Not only last year, obviously with Aaron Rodgers, but also this year. So that's my 2 cents there.
Yeah. All right. I think we're on the same page. I appreciate you guys being here with us. Do us a favor, smash that like button. Like we said, any questions that are asked via the website will get prioritized first. Of course, super chats as well. But just a heads up, just know that if you're planning to donate to us, YouTube does take 30% of your donation away from us. The site is a better experience for you long term, and it's obviously better for us. If you haven't created an account yet on Flock Fantasy, use the promo code LAND. You can get an account for free. The first question on the website is from Bzeki. All right. This is a redraft 1 quarterback 12 team start 7, and it's a trade question. And it looks like he is sending away David Montgomery, Tank Dell, and Bijan Robinson, and he is receiving Breece Hall, Deontay Johnson, and Josh Jacobs. So here's how I view this. I want Bijan over Breece rest of season, but it's very close. Very close. I want David Montgomery over Josh Jacobs rest of season, but it's very close. And Tank Dell and Deontay Johnson is... I do think Deontay's an upgrade. I know you're a Tank Dell dude. I know there's a lot of Tank Dell dudes out there. I guess I'll ask you how you feel like this week going in, but look, if Bryce Young comes back, it's a wash. That's the problem.
That's the biggest. This is my biggest, I guess, concern about this trade. Yeah, I think Tank Dell, this is a make or break week for him. If Nico Collins is not going to play going against the Patriots, he should score points. Whether that is, he should score points and get targets. And if that's not the case here, it's like, okay, then we understand that Stephon Diggs is just taking those opportunities away because he's like when all 3 of them are on the field. That's basically my 2 cents on the Tank Dell.
Yeah.
My biggest concern with Deontay Johnson, like you kind of mentioned, is Bryce Young. Once Bryce Young comes back, Deontay Johnson is essentially dead in the water. So this is a huge risk here. And I would personally be keeping the Monty, Dell, and Bijan side just because I think however long Nico's going to miss time, that is kind of your window right now of opportunity to keep. And if that is truly going to miss 3 to 4 weeks because he's a week to week with the hamstring, then maybe you can sell Tank Dell, hopefully if he goes off, for more than Deontay Johnson for somebody that's on a better offense who has a better quarterback. Because I agree.
What you try is scrap the running backs in this deal and try and just get Deontay for Tank. Because I would prefer Deontay over Tank right now, rest of season. I know there's a lot of unknowns. Would you agree or disagree on that?
I agree. Like if you tell me right now that Andy Dalton was a quarterback rest of season, I think it is more than a mile that I would want Deontay Johnson over Tank Dell. It's just that we don't know that.
Yeah, I mean there are a couple teams where if a quarterback changes, the wide receivers drastically improve value. I mean, we've been saying that with the Colts. You saw it with Joe Flacco. I'm waiting on it in Cleveland. I think it's close.
Me too. I'm waiting on it in Cleveland. I think so as well.
I think Amari Cooper will be safe.
Well, they
soon.
play the Eagles,
which is a good matchup. It is technically a good matchup. And
you know what's funny is like, I don't think that Jameis Winston is going to save. I think he hones in and targets people, which is good. But like, I think he would still be the boom bust games. Like he's not gonna make this offense better.
If you remember, we did see Jameis last year come in for a game with Chris Olave, and it was pretty damn good. But of course, it's only a small sample size. But I kind of, and look, I own Amari Cooper in the Flock League, but I kind of do view him as a buy low. Let me know if you disagree or agree. The only reason I say that is because he could get traded, or Jameis Winston could start. Those two things are really interesting to me.
And the one that I really want to happen is to get traded. But I don't view Amari Cooper as a buy low. I think if I'm a Amari Cooper owner, I want to pivot as any way possible. In my opinion, if I had Amari Cooper, because I mean, look, I can have the art. Anyways, I don't want to go too deep into it, but because I can have a whole 20-minute conversation about this. But just get him off your team. In my opinion, that's what I would do for whatever. Well, not whatever, but that's what I would. Yeah.
Obviously, I disagree, but I have Amari Cooper in the Flock League. But I think he will have much better games in the future. There's so many scenarios here. It's not just one scenario where maybe the quarterback changes. He could get traded. There's just so many scenarios out there that I'm thinking through. But anyway, we would keep the Montgomery side of that. That's a long-winded answer.
Yeah, it was.
The next trade here is from Jay Lucas. And Jay Lucas from our website says, David Montgomery or Bijan Robinson? It's kind of crazy. Like, this isn't a wild question to ask.
No, Not at all. And I did bring Bijan Robinson as somebody that I'm trying to sell high in any way that I can. I don't think in this scenario you're trying to get Bijan Robinson, and it's just because of what we kind of spoke about in a couple streams ago. Like, we see how this offense is changing. We were promised a CMC usage, and we're not seeing that. And it has been very disappointing and deflating if you drafted Bijan Robinson in your first round. But this team is gearing more towards just throwing the ball. I think they found their gear with Drake London, with Darnell Mooney. What can you get for Bijan Robinson? I'm not sure, but I think there's still name value there that you should be getting more than Dave Montgomery, even though you're sending Dave Montgomery for Bijan in this scenario. But that's, once again,
I wanted to quickly look at the beginning of the trends to the end of the trends of like the first couple weeks. So you can see week 1, 90% of snaps down to 74 to 82 to 61 to 67. So we've gone from like a 90, 80% guy to like mid 60s. All right. Rushing attempt share. This is what's important. 82% of the rushing attempts in week 1, then to 52, 64, 47, 65. Even the route participation has gone down from 79%, 74%, 58, 58, 50%. The target share from 23% to 19 to 7 to 12 to 6%. And you are seeing a name like Tyler Algier, from week 1 all the way to week 5, his opportunities are growing and growing and growing. Fantasy Life does a great little metric here, the utilization report. This last week, Tyler Algier had a utilization report of 4.1 out of 10. And Bijan Robinson went from 9.3 in week 1 to 6.8. So that's a lot of numbers just to tell you, like, it's tough to trade for Bijan Robinson right now. I mean, I know I've sent a buy low trade for him in multiple leagues, and I'm glad the other person didn't accept it. And I'm not sure if it changes, but there is reason for optimism with Bijan, and that is because, number 1, he was dealing with an injury, and number 2, he plays Carolina this week. I can see everyone's opinion on Bijan changing this week. I really can. You can score on the ground versus Carolina. They're the second best matchup for your running backs right now. And even if you adjust for schedule, which shout out to 4 for 4 because they have schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed, they're number 1. They're the best matchup. So I don't know, man. I
don't disagree.
I think I do lean Bijan.
I would say this week, yeah, sure. Why not Bijan? But I don't know if rest of the season, if that answer is going to be Bijan still. And David Montgomery is technically like the RB2, and he's outscoring Bijan for a guy that's supposed to be the RB1 in his offense here. I'm not saying I would do this. I'm just saying, like, this is a tough trade. Like,
it is.
I think without any context, if you told me right now, no question, everyone wants Bijan Robinson. But with the first 5 weeks, it's like, just keep Monty.
Yeah, I think I am going to take Bijan here. It's very close, but I think this is a risk I'm willing to take. It is, because I see a scenario where potentially David Montgomery's role could decrease because of Gibbs. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it could. But I think Bijan could be better, so
my thing is, like,
this is an upside play for me rest of the season.
Monty's role is going to decrease?
I said it could.
Okay. I was going to say, his role is already limited than what we kind of expected.
No, it's
but
not.
Yes,
Montgomery is dominating touches, bro.
He's
got to be one of the highest used running backs in the NFL right now.
Over Jahmyr Gibbs in that backfield?
What is your question? Sorry.
I'm saying, like, you're saying his usage could go down, and meaning Jahmyr Gibbs should get more touches. Like, I think...
Yes. He's averaging 18 touches per game right now.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know it was 18. I thought it would be more like 12.
No, dude.
14. I didn't know that number off the top of my head, but that's interesting. What is Jahmyr Gibbs averaging?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. No.
Okay, that's fine. No stress. But okay, hopefully that helps.
I can do the math for you real quick here. But
another
all I'm saying is, we saw this last year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again this year, where over like the first 4 weeks, Monty is the guy, and then they start to fluctuate between him and Gibbs, and then there's games where Gibbs starts to dominate. Gibbs is averaging about 16.7 touches per game. So right now, Monty has been the RB1 in utilization first 4 weeks. I'm saying that could change. I could see Gibbs being the higher used player. So I like the idea of buying low on Bijan there, but you're right. It's a huge range of outcomes. All right, we got another trade here from T-Mode. He says, hesitant to move JSN, but desperately need another quarterback. I think Geno has an out after this year. This is a redraft question. It's a super flex 12 team. I'm wondering if this is dynasty because he's talking about the next year.
Yeah, hesitant to move JSN, desperately need another quarterback.
I love JSN, but this feels pretty fair with Godwin being a part of that deal. Like,
yeah, sure,
no disrespect
right now,
to Quentin Johnson or that 3rd round pick, but Godwin is almost as valuable as JSN in Dynasty, in my opinion. I think they'd be in a similar tier, maybe 1 tier below because of the age. So I love JSN, but I feel comfortable with that deal. I tried and flip Dobbins as soon as I got him, but
yeah, I'm okay with this. Yeah, I'm okay with this. And this is like in Dynasty. Do you still want JSN over Godwin? I feel like they would be in the same tier for me.
I'd take JSN over any name here in Dynasty. But my issue is with the Johnston and the 3rd side of that deal because I just have no interest in those players.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So I think it's fair. I don't want to lose JSN either, but I think it's fair. I would only do this if you're competing, by the way. If you're competing, do it. If not, hold JSN.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
All right, we got a start sit here from Chris. I appreciate you, Chris. Very kind of you. Hey, guys, if you haven't checked out our website, definitely go give it a look. It's the pinned comment. Great way for you to ask us a question and get your question prioritized straight away. So it's a start sit question. It's a super flex 10 team start 8. He says, I also have Chubb and Jonathan Brooks on IR. Anything you would change? Thank you. Okay, so we're starting Kyler, Daniels, Derek at running back, Travis Etienne or J.K. Dobbins. Etienne is tough because we got to monitor his practice reports, and we haven't heard anything new with many of these players so far this week. He's got that shoulder issue that he's dealing with. I think right now, probably Dobbins is a safer play, but we have to wait and see on that.
Dobbins just has not the best matchup against the Broncos. Yeah. Yes. I would say this, if Etienne doesn't play...
But you cannot throw on the Broncos.
Sure. I understand that. I would just say that if Etienne doesn't play, obviously it's J.K. Dobbins, your decision's made there, but for me, it would be Travis Etienne still. He also did say he put in a claim for Tank Bigsby, so if you do get that claim and Etienne doesn't play, then that's your answer. You start Tank Bigsby.
That's a great idea.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think that's fair. At tight end, I'm gonna go McBride still. I know Tucker Kraft's been killing it, but they're oddly enough they're facing each other. I have these guys both in the Flock League, so I get that. That's a tough question. We're starting DJ Moore this week. He's my wide receiver 7. I'm obsessed with the matchup this week for DJ Moore.
Soak it up.
Really, really think he's going to have a huge game again. Obviously playing the Jags, if you adjust for schedule, the number 1 matchup for wide receivers. So I'm going to play DJ Moore. And then at flex, he's got Olave, Kraft, Ayuk, Dowdle, Pittman, Dobbins. I think you got to start Ayuk.
Yeah, it has to be Ayuk. That's where I was going to go there as well. Over... I guess the likes of Michael Pittman. I mean, are you starting? Yeah, I am starting Ayuk over Michael Pittman, even if Joe Flacco plays. So
yeah, we have a saying on this channel, which is keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Start your superstars. We've been saying that about Ayuk. Even last week, you guys were asking, do we start Ayuk? And we said, look, I think you keep starting him. All right, but you have to be aware that the Niners are a very volatile offense from week to week. But yeah, all right, cool.
Hopefully that helps. We appreciate you. Sir, that's hilarious.
Super chat that just popped up.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's why I started laughing.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say, but I appreciate you donating saying that. All right. What's the next question here?
I think it's Chrome Football, right?
Okay, yeah. Chrome Football.
No
Dynasty,
context
one
here.
quarterback.
12 teams start 8. So we're setting up his whole lineup. So starting at the quarterback position, it's
Yeah.
going to be Jared Goff here. No question about it. He's playing the Cowboys away. So at the running back position here, Joe Money Bags, if he does play, you start him. And for me, obviously, it's going to be Travis Etienne. If it's not Travis Etienne, you start Tank Bigsby over Rico if Etienne is not playing this week. At the wide receiver position, I see Malik, DK, Amon-Ra. This has to be Amon-Ra for me. And then Malik in the flex.
Yeah, I agree. My only difference here would be that I'd probably actually start Caleb. Good matchup for Jared, but Caleb versus the Jags, I want to play the Jags versus everybody. They give up the most points when you adjust for schedule to wide receivers. To
Does that change? Does it change your opinion if that's in London?
No,
Because
not really.
That game's London.
It would if like it was a more close matchup, but this is just a matchup I'm targeting everywhere, you know.
Yeah, no, and I understand. So hopefully that helps. For me, it'll be Jared Goff. So when you get this time code, it'll be Jared Goff for me. For Zach, it'll be Caleb Williams. And I'm pretty sure you might have another wide receiver option here that maybe you didn't fill out right, Chrome. So if there is another wide receiver option here, I think we would both start DK because I think one wide receiver is a little bit weird.
I think you probably have a bigger roster than a start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but maybe that's just what he needed help with.
Yeah, maybe that's what you need, exactly.
Appreciate you, Chrome. Thanks for asking that question. Very, very kind of you. Again, guys, if you haven't checked out our website, definitely give it a look. It's the pinned comment in the chat. Great resource for you and also for us. YouTube doesn't take 30% of your donation away from us, which your intention is to give to us as a small channel. CD's Nuts has a start sit. All right. CD's Nuts is a redraft 1 quarterback, 12 teams, start 8. He says, thanks again, guys. Having trouble with my lineup. Also, drop anyone for Bigsby, Tolbert, or Tyrone. So let's start with the start sit. We're starting CJ Stroud, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard. At tight end, he has to choose between Laporta and Tucker Kraft.
GG's.
And it's not a crazy question to ask. It really is.
You got to sell somebody. No, I mean, look, you got to go. Well, yeah. It's hard to tell you who to go here because Tucker Kraft is the tight end one the past 2 weeks.
He's on a heater.
Yeah, so what's Sam Laporta been doing? Absolutely nothing so far this year. I have to scroll down. He's tight end 23, averaging 6.7 fantasy points per game. That's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, at any point, you know, it's kind of like Ayuk in a way. Like at any point he can
come off. Maybe it's worth starting 2 tight ends. This depending on your flex options. So maybe we'll skip this and go to flex options.
Well, I was just gonna say, I probably am gonna start Tucker.
Okay, over Sam Laporta. And
I'm gonna keep riding the heater. It's you're at the roulette table, and the black keeps hitting. You don't want to hit the red. Let's keep rolling. It's 5 in a row. There's some magic going on the table right now.
There's some magic going on.
All right, at flex, I think you've got to put Ayuk out there.
No question.
And then I guess it's between Jameson, Laporta, Stevenson. Those are the names I'd consider here.
Well, yeah, I guess the question is, are we starting?
To me, it's between Jameson and Laporta.
Yeah, I would agree. Are you starting Laporta over Jameson and then have 2 tight ends starting? I just feel like Jameson has the higher ceiling right now.
He does, but Laporta has a safer floor. I mean, I love Jameson Williams. Y'all know that. But right now, he'd be a pretty hard sell for me. Through the first 2 weeks, he was averaging 10 targets per game. It's gone back down to about 2.5. And that's just not reliable. You had 2 targets and you had 80 yards and a touchdown. That's difficult to replicate. I want to see the first 2-week version of Jameson Williams in this offense, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a thing. I think Laporta is the safer play.
I'm just going to go based off fantasy points allowed, I'll be honest with you. I'm just
Okay.
looking for the tight end position where the Cowboys
Well,
give up right now.
we have to keep in mind contextually that no team is giving up a lot of points to tight ends this year.
Yeah, that's so true.
So it's a bit difficult to rely on those numbers right
Dallas
now.
currently give up the 18th most points to the wide receiver position, but they give up the 5th most points in adjusted fantasy to the tight ends. But yes, I do agree. Like those numbers might be a little skewed because of how bad all the tight ends have been.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Sam Laporta.
Yeah. Tough call, man.
And-
That was maybe our toughest call on the stream so far, CD. So we appreciate you, man. We got a trade question here from Tank Tone. I appreciate you. Tanks, man. Tanks. Tanks for the question. Redraft 1 quarterback, 10 teams, start 7. It's a small league, small starting lineup. He would be sending away Moss, Reed, Singletary, Mahomes. Honestly, the only name I'm worried about losing is Reed there. Yeah, don't care about Mahomes. On the other side, you get Ayuk, Breece Hall, and Josh Allen. This seems like a no-brainer for the Breece Hall side.
Yeah, I agree. You have Brock Purdy, it looks like, and you upgrade at the quarterback position. Obviously, you get upgraded in Reed, but Brandon Ayuk is definitely coming back to that form that we were kind of expecting. And you get Breece Hall. This is easy, brother.
Where do you have Mahomes rest of season in your rankings?
Tell you right.
Because
season,
he's my quarterback 9 right now. I'm not even sure that that's low enough. I probably would prefer CJ over him rest of season.
he's my quarterback 11.
Yeah.
So I have like Dak
Do you have
Prescott,
Baker
Brock Purdy.
Baker Mayfield over him?
No, that's the person that I have underneath him.
Okay. Yeah, same.
So Baker's my
Okay.
yeah, one underneath him there. So
Yeah. So yeah, just don't care about Mahomes. Honestly, we avoided him in every draft this year. It's just that's not what the offense is built around. And you lost Pacheco, you lost Rashee Rice. What other signs do we need to tell us Mahomes is not a superstar in fantasy football? He hasn't been for over a year. So yeah, I like that. Thanks for the question. Brando here in a redraft, 1 quarterback, 10 teams, start 8. One side gets Jordan Mason, Etienne, and Pittman. The other side gets McCaffrey and Etienne. Is there any context, by the way?
what's your record?
Did he leave a message at all?
I no, he did not.
So if I knew this team was 4-1 or 3-2,
What's your record?
actually, Badaki, let's be honest for a second. I'm taking this deal no matter what. Derrick Henry is a freaking superstar this year in fantasy football. And yeah, I'll be obnoxious about it because I got him in the Flock League. How can we not trade for Derrick Henry right now?
I hear you. Well, you're lucky because Saquon Barkley was on the buy, so who really has the RB1? Anyways,
Well, I think
But I do
clearly
get
everybody
what you're
would
saying.
prefer Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley.
I know I'm joking. I do agree. I would take Derrick Henry in this side here, regardless.
I like this deal a lot, actually, because you're getting off the unknowns of ETN. We believe A-Rich is going to come back, and that's going to make things really difficult for Pittman. And eventually, McCaffrey should be back. If he's not, then you've got Derrick Henry still. I like the risk of this deal for Brandon here. All right, this is a start-sit question from Jay Dennis. And he hasn't given us any options when filling it out of what players to choose. Is there a message maybe he sent? He says, confused who to start, but I only have 2 running back spots, and I'm confused and frustrated. Okay.
Hopefully.
So there's no comment attached to this one?
Jay Dennis, if you are in the YouTube chat, you don't have to donate. Maybe just write who are your other options, because we want to help you the best way we can, and we appreciate the donation.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know for sometimes the website might be a little bit confusing at first, but
when you fill it out, what you want to do is first tell us your starting lineup, as in the players that you can start. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex right. The second thing you want to do is tell us players you are considering starting. Whereas in this one, you've just put players that are starting. That's the way it's been formatted. So if you're watching this, let us know. We definitely want to be helpful, but yeah, we'll wait on that question. We've got one this is a trade question here from BXR Dude. Says had to make a move, don't need Amari nor Cleveland offense, nothing more than a heart attack. So it's a 1 quarterback 12 team start 7. One side gets Amari Cooper and Derrick Henry. The other side gets Nico Collins and David Montgomery. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll give me a Nico Collins Monty side. Yes, I would like Derrick Henry long term, but even if Nico's going to miss some time, I kind of said this in the earlier stream. Jameis can come in, Amari Cooper can get traded, but Nico Collins, once he's back and healthy, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's the wide receiver one right now, before his injury. So I think I just want that. And Monty has just been a top 10 running back so far in the first couple weeks, and I personally don't see that workload going down. So give me Nico on Monty's side.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm on the same page as you there.
Yeah.
I'm on the same
I see you,
page.
Daniel. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for using the website.
Oh, yes. Awesome. I appreciate you big time, my man. I like that trade for you as well. We're still waiting on Dennis, by the way, if he's in the chat. Hopefully he is. But, okay, let's just pretend the question is Etienne or Bigsby. And if he comes in the chat, then, we'll hear it. Because, like we said, we don't know what your options are. You just filled it out with giving us no options there. But if the question is Etienne or Bigsby, what do you reply to that with?
Well, my biggest thing is Etienne going to play this week. And if Etienne does play, I'm still going to start Travis Etienne. This might be the Dennis family. Here we go. So the Dennis family says, I have Musgrave, Rashad White, Braylon Allen, Jameson Williams. Sorry, guys. This is my first time. That's okay. That's all right. So at the tight end position, you have Musgrave. So you start Jake Ferguson, sure. At the running back position, you have Travis Etienne Tank with Rashad White, Braylon Allen. I think that's probably your best lineup. Honestly, I think I would start both of the Jags over Rashad White and Braylon Allen.
That's a great point now that you say that. I would start both of those Jags over Rashad White. That's crazy, but it's true. I mean, the matchup is so good. And if Etienne misses, I'd just throw White out there as your RB2. And then at flex, I am still playing Amari Cooper over Jameson Williams personally.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
I'm still doing that as well. Yeah, and he also said he has Baker Mayfield. I would start Jordan Love over Baker.
I would, but it's close, man. I mean, Baker's
what's
funny? On Thursday Night Football, Badaki, I sat Baker Mayfield in the Flock League. And I watched him throw 3 touchdowns in the first half. And I was like, shit, I made the wrong call. But I had Joe Burrow starting, and Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns, was a big reason why I won. But I'm saying that because Baker Mayfield is becoming a name that every week you're like, okay, should he not be ranked as like a top 6 name? The way this offense is funneling through the wide receivers. Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Anyway.
I hear you. I'm surprised like this offense just felt like it hasn't changed outside of Chris Godwin going back to the slot, but everyone's eating here unless Baker's just better. And he just needed to be like this guy that traveled a little bit. Or maybe he was just in the wrong system in Cleveland where he was drafted.
Well, it's hilarious looking back at Cleveland. Imagine Baker Mayfield with Amari Cooper. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate the question, Dennis family. Very kind to you. I hope we answered that well. Okay, is that all the questions on the Flock site?
Do we have any more?
Okay,
I think so.
One more question, which is Trump Force. If you haven't asked a question to the website, definitely go check it out. At tight end, we said we would start Jake Ferguson over Luke Musgrave, which is the option that you mentioned.
Yeah.
All right, Trump Force here. This is 1 quarterback, 8 team, start 7, so a very small format. At quarterback, he's choosing between Jalen Hurts and Darnold. Let's play Jalen Hurts. He's got his weapons back. Fire him up. At flex, he's considering Amari Cooper, James Conner, T. Higgins, Aaron Jones, Jalen Waddle. Jones won't play, obviously. This is really between Conner and Higgins for me. I do like Amari this week versus Philly, but it's between those 2 names. Do you have a indication or a leaning towards either one of these names?
For me, this would probably be T. Higgins in a full PPR league. I like James Conner. T. Higgins going against my Giants. I think he can easily score. There's going to be fantasy points dedicated to T, so I would just go there.
Yeah.
with T Higgins.
Okay. I don't want to be like the controversial one, but I would probably go Connor for the safer floor.
Sure.
But I will recognize if you're looking at your matchup on the opposite side and you're like, you know what, I really need a ceiling play here. I think Higgins might be the better play. But for safety, if you feel really comfortable this week, I will go ahead and put James Conner out there myself. I think he has a safer floor versus the Packers. I don't imagine either team like completely dominating that game. I think it'll be very close with the Packers and Cardinals. That's one of those fun fantasy games we look forward to. But yeah, I appreciate the question, man. And I think that is the final question to the website, unless I've missed any that have happened just now.
No, I'm refreshing. I don't see anything,
Okay,
but we
cool.
appreciate you guys here on the website, and we also appreciate you on YouTube. So we'll get to all the YouTube super chats right now, but still, feel free to drop your questions on the website because that's what we prioritize. But anyways, thank you so much, Sir Yeti. Jaden Daniels won all 3 of my leagues, and JD5 is MVP. Talk it up.
Let's go,
Talk it up.
baby. You know, 2 weeks ago I put in our home league chat, I said, is it crazy to say Jane Daniels is an MVP candidate? And everyone's like, you know, it's not that crazy, actually. I mean, the guy is probably playing the best at the quarterback position of any name.
I mean, I hear you.
Through 5 weeks. I mean, maybe Lamar, maybe Burrow. But I love it. We have a super chat here from Marcelo. It's his first super chat. I appreciate the donation,
you so much,
man. He says, man, not a start and sitting question, but what do I do with my team? I'm 1-4. I lost Rice. I have Kyron, JJ, JSN, Love, Ertz, Worthy, Stevenson. What should I chase? What do I do? That's an unfortunate reality of fantasy football. I mean, that lineup is incredible. Imagine Rashee Rice healthy with Kyron and Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean,
but the reality is you don't have those players healthy.
No, and look, I'm pretty sure you're probably struggling with Jordan Love missing a couple games. I think he missed 2 games early in the season, so that kind of went down already. I think Worthy could pick it up in the second half of the season. I think your biggest downfall here is probably your tight end position. I'm not sure if Tucker Kraft is still available. Maybe you drop a significant amount of fab on Tucker Kraft, but if you are in a savvy league, you're probably going to be struggling at the tight end position here. Do you go pick up Tyler Conklin? Do you go pick up, Hunter Henry, like Zach kind of mentioned earlier, with Drake May now starting? I just think I want a better tight end play than Zach Ertz. Other than that, obviously Stevenson had 2 dud games. You kind of have to just wait it out and hit the waiver wires hard and try and get some W's off of, high upside players that are available.
Well, also Kyron Williams is not playing this week, and we really don't want to go to 1-5. So I think the one piece of advice I'd offer is I don't want to sell Kyron, but I think I'd be shopping him in your scenario. Thinking about what I'd want in return, I would be wanting to tier down at running back and still get a good wide receiver name. For example, can I tier down to James Conner and also add a Devonta Smith? A Brian Thomas, a Terry McLaurin, right? Could I tier down to David Montgomery or Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon if he's going to play, and some of those wide receivers?
Yeah.
I think that is a move that you should consider, considering you're not going to have Kyron and you could fall to 1-5. That's your team's going to be worse without Kyron, but 1-5 is tough to come back from.
It's definitely not ideal, which is unfortunate. So hopefully that helps. And once again, win your waiver wires. Maybe Tank Bigsby is available. Maybe Trey Sermon. I doubt he's available still. But I don't know how savvy your league is or how many starters. Maybe this is a 10-man league. You got to hit the waiver wires hard, man. We appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, waiver wires will be super important in this league. That's a good point.
Yeah, go Bills. Thank you so much for the super chat. PPR, pick 1 running back. Pick 1 RB2 and wide receiver flex. So I'm assuming start 3 out of these names.
1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex.
Okay, I don't know why that was so hard for me to read. So
That's
out of these 4, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs. So it'd be Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, London Godwin.
Okay.
I'm sitting Mason.
I am still gonna play Mason.
I understand.
I am very excited to play Jordan Mason personally, but I get the concern. I mean, he was good last week. He had the fumble, but he was averaging over 6 yards per carry. It's one of those high volatile offenses that on certain weeks can boom, certain weeks can bust, but I would start Jordan Mason here. I think I probably would sit Jacobs, but I don't know how you sit Jacobs.
Yeah, I don't know how
I
you
almost
sit
feel like you
Jacobs
have to
as well.
sit Godwin here. I don't want to do that, but I almost feel like you have to. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy question, actually.
Yeah, I guess it's just in a PPR. I just want to start. I want to start Godwin, who just is getting, opportunity. But I understand. For me, I'll be sitting Mason. I think it's really close between Mason and Jacobs in my rankings, at least. So I would be sitting Mason. So start Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, and then London and Godwin for me. But hopefully that helps, Gold Bills. You need to consolidate, trade somebody away, do something, because that's a crazy lineup there. We did get a question off the website there if you wanted to go to the website.
Yep, let's do it.
And then we'll continue with the super chats on YouTube here.
Oof.
Keith Land.
That's a good question.
Oof. A 25 early, mid first, or T Higgins. The best way I can
It's a dynasty question, honestly.
The best way I can put this, Keith, is I'll give you a couple scenarios, Zach, and you tell me if you want T Higgins or the 25 first. T Higgins is a New England Patriot.
The first.
T Higgins is now with the Chargers somehow.
The first. I'll be honest. I know the direction we're going here, but I don't think you could say a team where I would choose T Higgins.
There you go. Then maybe
that's
the reason. Answer.
The reason isn't me being anti-Higgins. It's just Higgins is going to be inconsistent most of his career. He's dealt with injuries so much, and to me, if this was a mid to late first, I think I hold. But an early to mid, if this is a top 3 pick in this draft, you have a shot at Ashton Genty, Tet McMillan. I mean, I'm just going that way.
I hear you.
Oh, he says it is a mid to late first. Okay, on the website it says early to.
It says early to mid. I understand. Look, it's just tough.
No. Nick said this is his question. I'm sure. He says it's a mid to late first.
NYC.
Okay, sorry. Right. Do the exercise again.
Okay, so T Higgins to who needs a wide receiver? T Higgins to the Raiders. They need a wide receiver.
I probably want that first.
T Higgins to the Steelers.
I want that first for sure.
T Higgins to the Bills.
I want T Higgins.
I feel like that's the only teams that I can think of that need a wide receiver. T Higgins to the Commanders. I don't know if he goes there, but maybe to the Commanders.
That's interesting. I don't know the answer to there.
Like I feel like those are the teams.
I think this is fair value. Okay. I think that's a reality. If I'm competing, I'll take T Higgins. If I'm rebuilding,
pick will be 10 to 12.
That's not a bad deal for T Higgins, honestly.
Look, I was gonna say, I would say if this is 10 to 12, I would risk it with T Higgins and hope that either he gets extension with the Bengals or he goes to a team that has a quarterback. But once again, we kind of did the exercise. T Higgins to the Patriots. Maybe you need to ask yourself here, Keith, if you'll be okay with those teams. But I would take the risk. So my team's competing. I can't find a better wide receiver available right now.
And honestly, the way that the Bengals are playing, I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to be top 5 in passing attempts this year. I just feel like it's going to happen. So that's close, man. I think that's a pretty fair deal though, across the board, value-wise. I appreciate you, man. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out the website yet, that is where you can get your question prioritized. Of course, you can donate here on YouTube as well, but just be aware YouTube takes 30% of your donation that you're aiming towards us. Website's a better experience for you, and it's a better experience for us. If you don't have an account yet on Flock, you can get a free account with the promo code LAND. A lot of free tools over there. Next super chat is from Manning. Ayuk, Jennings, or Amari Shaheed, Standard League. Well, Shaheed's no joke. Jennings is fake news.
No question. I mean, look, this week, if you had to choose one, we're starting Ayuk.
I think it's a
Not sure if
trade
you could
question.
Ayuk Jennings or Amari Shaheed. um, can Jennings be somebody else? Can Jennings be Wanda Robinson, Jalen Tolbert, Shakira, Tank Dell? Like, can it just be anyone else? Because right now I want Ayuk. I want Ayuk over Amari. And yes, I would like Shaheed, but as a package deal for Amari and Shaheed for Ayuk, like I take Jennings out of it. Are you taking Ayuk or Amari and Shaheed? Probably Amari and Shaheed.
It depends on how big the league is.
Yeah.
If it's a small league, if it's an 8-team league, a 10-team league, start 7, probably Ayuk. But this is what I would view as a buy low if it's a larger league. Let's say you're a 12-team league, start 9 or something.
Yeah.
I'll take the Amari side. And in a standard league, Shaheed is gold. In a standard league, Shaheed is like a top 20 wide receiver rest of season when Derek Carr's healthy.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know? It's a close one. Sherney, appreciate the donation. Traded Leggett for Evan Ingram. Current tight end is Njoku. Any hope that Ingram will have value when he returns, or will Kirk take that away? I'm more worried about Kirk than I am Ingram. I think Ingram's role will be solidified when he comes back. Kirk already had a season low snap percentage last week, and he had 4 targets. I think Ingram is going to make Kirk very difficult to play at any point. So I like this buy low, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it as well.
Yes, Mighty Booch, by the way,
game.
I have to put respect on Shaheed's name. The guy is breaking out in his 3rd year. It's crazy. What was that? Sorry, what did you say?
No, my thing got all messed up, so I can't scroll all the way up to the
Okay,
next
that's
super, the recent super chats.
So the next
just
one is the
continue.
Professor, and he says full PPR offered Aaron Jones for Jamison Williams and JMO. Thoughts? Javonte Williams and Jamison. I'd rather have Aaron Jones here.
I'd rather have Aaron Jones as well.
Yeah. Frank,
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, Achan, Jason for Brees and Terry.
Garrett Wilson, Achan,
I'm keeping the Garrett Wilson side of this.
I agree.
It's like you make this deal if Brees is what you thought he would be, and he's just not so far.
Agreed.
We got a question here from Indy Lazar from across the pond. That's a pound.
Okay, that's what
Love
I
to
see.
see it. Trading Devontae Adams commit for Mason Andrews Lockett. What do you think? I don't like it at all. I want the Adams side of this.
Yeah, as much as I don't want Adams right now because he could get traded. I think you should be able to get more than this, or some players more intriguing. To be
The
honest,
clock
with
is
you.
ticking on Mason.
It is. And Andrews, the clock already struck for Andrews, even though he had a little better game last week. But anyways, thank you so much, Serge. We appreciate the super chat. It's hilarious.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah. Just from full PPR, one flex, Wicks, Kirk, Ridley. Hey, you kind of have to roll with Dontavion Wicks again, don't you? Because I don't want to start Christian Kirk or Calvin Ridley, especially after that terrible game with Christian Kirk. I mean, look, Kirk did have a better game. He had more yardage this week, his most yardage actually. But yeah, like Zach said, one of his least snap percentages on the field this week. He's going against Chicago. I think he could have a better game technically than what we saw last week, but it is a tougher matchup. But give me Dontavion Wicks. You got to throw him out again one more time.
Last week I told people to start Wicks, and the most commented thing after he busted was, all these fantasy experts told you to start Wicks. He's going to bust. So I'm going to play chess. Don't start Wicks. He's going to do terrible. You see where I'm coming from? All right.
I hear you. I hear you.
Dontavion Wicks is going to suck this week. Start him, though. I think he's your best start. But he's going to suck. But look, I mean, he led the team in targets. I think if you watch the All-22, Jordan Love is to blame. He's to blame as well. It's an even part of blame. People only want to blame Wicks. I think Jordan Love was very inaccurate. Even to other players. Like, he wasn't the most accurate quarterback this week. 24K Lightning says, long-term play question. Should I drop Justice Hill for Tyler Algier Also, Xavier Legette worth holding on to. Legette's worth holding on to. As far as Justice Hill and Tyler Algier, I honestly don't care. None of these guys are going to be valuable unless the name in front of them is injured. So that's like predict the future type question. I don't care about any of these names unless the RB ahead of them is injured. It's, you know, and I think Algier would be the guy if Bijan went down. I think they would rotate someone in with Justice Hill still.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that I would want Justice Hill personally. I kind of like Justice Hill because of like these games that once they're down. But we saw this last week where they were down and up and down and up, and they still ran the ball, which is great. That's what you want to see with Derrick Henry.
And what we saw last week as well, to jump in, is like they started targeting wide receivers instead.
Yeah,
that was a game script where Justice Hill should have smashed, and he was a bust.
Yeah, I think like the Bengals. I was telling this to Luke, our friend, a Ravens fan. He was just saying Justice Hill was just more in on blitz packages because they were sending so much to Lamar, because I guess the Bengals clearly is a divisional rival. They know a little bit more about that matchup. But I think Justice Hill has an interesting opportunity on a week-to-week basis, like even next week against Washington and the week after against Tampa.
Well,
like,
can we both agree that this is a scenario where there's no value unless the guy ahead of them is down?
Yeah, agreed.
So let's ask the question. If both of those guys were down, who do you want? Tyler Algier, right?
Yeah.
So do with that information what you like, I guess.
Yeah, Sammy, thank you so much for the super chat. He said trade Godwin and Martin Harrison Jr. for AJ Brown and Waddle. I want AJ Brown and Waddle with the hopes that Tua comes back there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's actually a tough question for me. Well, funnily enough, you have AJ Brown in the Flock League. I have Godwin. I just don't think I don't think I want to give up on Marvin though. That's my problem with this.
Yeah.
But overall, I do like the idea of buying low on Waddle, buying low on that offense. So, yeah, I think I will go AJ Brown, but I think Marvin is going to still be very good.
Yeah, I think both of those guys would be good. Like, I agree. I think both of those guys would be good. I think this will be an easy AJ Brown Waddle if Tua was in, right? We need to have that risk there. Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat. 2 quarterback dynasty full PPR. Start Herbert/Geno. 1 QB1 is Allen. This week I'll start Geno. Justin Herbert against the Broncos. That's a tough matchup. Playing over there at Mile High Stadium. Give me Geno this week against the 49ers, who should score. Geno has been good at scoring as well so far. Give me Geno.
Well, Herbert's unplayable.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what they've done to my boy. Look at what they've done. It's the most boring version of the Chargers I think I've ever seen. Like, think about the Chargers in the last 2 decades. The teams with Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates. And then we had Justin Herbert with late Keenan and Eckler. And, oh my God, so much fantasy. And now it's just, they've massacred our boy. It's sad. It's so sad to see. But yeah, we're going to go with Geno Smith.
Water.
We did get a question through the website.
Yep.
So let's go look at that. If you guys haven't checked out our website, definitely go give it a look. It's a great resource for you and obviously for us. YouTube doesn't take 30% of that donation that you want to give us. So this is from ALX, and they said 1 quarterback, 8 teams, start 7. It's a half PPR league. It's a small format, as small as it gets pretty much. He says, hey guys, first time here. Any suggestions on how I should go with my lineup this week? First off, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
he's got Fields. He's got James Cook. He's got Alvin Kamara. He also has Tony Pollard as an option. Laporta or Kincaid. We've got Higgins, Adams, Wicks, Deontay. We're starting Chase. And then at flex, we've got a bunch of options too. So before we get to the flex, would you make any changes to the lineup?
No.
Yeah, I think I'd start Laporta over Kincaid. But my only question is wide receiver 2 with Higgins versus Deontay. I just think we underestimated how good the Bears secondary is. I mean, if you adjust for schedule, the Bears are the 3rd worst matchup in fantasy right now. We should have thought about that with Deontay last week. We were just riding so high on the amount of targets he was getting. Atlanta is not as difficult as a matchup. I think they're actually top 12 when you adjust for schedule. So I do think Deontay's in play here, but are we just riding with Higgins?
Yeah, Higgins at the wide receiver 2. Like, Higgins and Jamar Chase? Like, what do you mean just riding with Higgins?
I'm asking you
Because
Higgins or Deontay Johnson. Because I just talked about Deontay Johnson there.
No, I understand. I was just a bit confused of like, well, he's already starting T. Higgins, but I'm starting T. Higgins and then Deontay Johnson in the flex.
Okay.
Because he has T. Higgins and the Jamar Chase. So maybe I was just confused a little bit there.
Okay. So not Tony Pollard?
No, I would still start Deontay.
Okay.
Deontay or T. Higgins over the running back. Again, I know he's going against the Colts. I mean, I would argue maybe even Wan'Dale is an interesting start as well. But
yeah, no, I mean that's not wrong. I mean, I got Tony Pollard as my RB15 this week.
I think what's interesting is that you have players that are going to score. You just have to choose the right one. But yeah, I'll be going Deontay, especially with obviously Andy Dalton still playing. This is a divisional matchup. They're playing in Carolina.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I think I agree with you. Sorry, just to jump in, what I was going to say is what if Adams plays? Here's the reality of your team.
Playing the Steelers.
So
playing the Steelers, Adams with probably Aiden O'Connell. Maybe
you're right. You're probably right. No, but here's the reality with your team. You've got to consolidate. I know that this is an 8-team league, start 7, so everybody's rosters are going to be stacked. But I'm overpaying hardcore in this league to upgrade everywhere. And what do I mean by that? If I can package Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid, and fucking Wan'Dale Robinson to get McBride or Bowers, I'm doing, like, as an example, right? Depth doesn't matter. It's a Fugazi. It's a what's your duty, whatever that name is. I'm packaging Deontay Johnson and Wan'Dale Robinson, and I'm gonna try and upgrade. I'm packaging Justin Fields and some of these wide receivers and upgrading at wide receiver or at quarterback. So that's what I would say overall, but this is a lineup I'd set. We're on the same page.
Yeah, hopefully that helps. We really appreciate you here on the website, but thank you so much. We did get another one on the website. Antonio, thank you so much. He says
appreciate
one quarterback 12 team, start 7. So at the quarterback position, let's you have Jordan Love, James Cook, and Joe Moneybag Mixon. Josh Jacobs at the running back position. At the tight end position, you're considering Dallas Goedert and Kyle Pitts
and Tucker Kraft.
It's Tucker Kraft. I'm starting Tucker Kraft over Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert, especially with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith both coming back. Give me Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. It's time to sell Dallas Goedert if you have him.
Yeah, at the wide receiver position,
CeeDee
Lamb and AJ Brown.
Yeah, gots to.
And then at the flex position, you're going to start Garrett Wilson.
Ooh, but you've got DK Metcalf as an option, though. I think I'd start DK, no? I mean, Garrett Wilson versus Buffalo, that's a more difficult matchup than San Francisco for DK. I'm going to go DK there.
I think there's 2 divisional matchups that I just want to be a part of. I would go the Jets. I think this...
Well, DK is a divisional matchup.
That's what I'm saying. 2 divisional matchups I want to be a part of. I would just go with the Monday night game than the Thursday night game. Maybe that's a mental thing. If you guys know, maybe you guys are new here. Hate starting players on Thursday night. Sometimes it pans out, but most of the time, it's pretty shit outside of this last Thursday night football game. But anyways.
My rationale is Buffalo is a bottom 5 matchup for wide receivers. One of the most difficult ones when you adjust for schedule. So I just don't want to chase it, We've seen more evidence that Metcalf is a good start than Wilson so far. But wouldn't be surprised either way there. I mean, that's my wide receiver 12 this week and my wide receiver 9 in my rankings. So they're both great options. And I appreciate the question, man. Thanks for asking through the website. Is that all the website questions?
Yeah, that's all the ones I can see there. I think back on YouTube, going through the donations, thank you so much. Big Mac Brad, he says, do I start Brian Thomas or Olave? For me, this would be Brian Thomas, even without Olave, without Derek Carr.
So Brian Thomas was my hot take of the week last week on my players going nuclear video. It hit 100 yards plus 17 plus PPR points. He got more than that. This week is tough though. I want to respect the Chicago Bears secondary. I want so badly to say Olave, but I can't. I can't do that with no Derek Carr. You're in a lose-lose situation. Terrible matchup or a player in a good matchup without a quarterback. So I got to go Brian Thomas there. That's tough. From Bentley, says drop Bucky, Braylon, Sharps, or Hunt for Bigsby. Well, you're not dropping Kareem Hunt. I mean, I updated my rankings last night. Kareem Hunt's a top 24 running back for me rest of season. I just don't think you can sit him or dump him. 27 carries last night. It's probably gonna be.
For me, it's between Bucky and Sharps.
Okay. I wouldn't drop Bucky because Rachaad White might be dealing with an injury. We don't have an update on that.
Yeah, I understand that.
I would probably say Charbonnet then.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'll go Sharps with you.
Look, Charbonnet is not a startable name when Ken Walker is healthy, but Ken Walker has dealt with injuries often.
Exactly, and that's kind of the hardest part. I would say I would drop Bucky if Rachaad White does play.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't know if that's going to be the case, because if Kenneth Walker does go down again, Charbonnet, what we saw was a top 24 play, and the same thing with Brees. I don't know if Bucky without Rachaad White is a top 24 play. Maybe he's just a guy in rotation with somebody else behind there. So I'll drop
Honestly,
Bucky
I think that's a fair analysis there. I like it. Charlie Lewis says, burn the number one waiver on Juju or Tolbert. Look, I mean, do you have a strong opinion on this? I have a thought, but I don't know that I can rely on Juju rest of season. I feel like Tolbert could be breaking out. He's a young player. Cooks is on the IR. I just think every week Juju is going to be kind of boom bust, and I think Watson will have a week and Worthy will have a week. This Cowboys offense is throwing the ball a ton, and I just feel like the answer is Tolbert for me. But I mean,
I agree.
It's hard saying that after seeing what happened on Monday Night Football, but I think it's Tolbert.
For me, it's Tolbert because he's needed. He is more needed in this offense where, like you said, anyone can have a day in Kansas City. Xavier Worthy can have a day. Travis Kelce can have a day. Like you said, Watson. Is it Watson? You saw MVS getting some opportunities. Give me Jalen Tolbert because he is needed as a wide receiver 2 in this offense. So
that's a team that could trade for a wide receiver.
Yeah, go get Devontae Adams. Oh, actually, don't. I would hate that so much as a Giants fan.
Go get Amari Cooper.
Imagine they get him back. Gosh. The Dennis family, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, since KC is on a bye, should I drop their defense and pick up Houston's defense on my bench? I have Braylon Allen, James Moon. Okay. I would say Houston is a defense I'm picking up, specifically, for example, in the Flock League. I like this defense. I hate that Drake May's starting this week, because I think they actually have a higher and a better chance to score with Drake May than
still a rookie,
Jacoby Brissett.
Start
but exactly, still a rookie. So I will go with the Houston's Texans defense.
And I think like his main question is just, would you drop the Chiefs defense versus the names? And I would just say drop the Chiefs defense. Look, we don't want to get rid of good defenses, but the reality is defenses, for me, I like to kind of play it week by week with my defense. I don't like to be stuck to a specific defense. I like to chase matchups. I like to chase teams that give up a bunch of sacks or turnovers every single week. So I think when you release a defense, it kind of gives you this freedom to every week try and find a good matchup. And it also gives you freedom on the waiver wire. So I'd rather drop, I want to keep the Chiefs, but if it meant I had to drop one of those names instead, I wouldn't do it. I'd just drop one of those, the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Thank you so much for the super chat, Patel. It says 12 team full PPR. HN on the buy, start Braylon. Chance to get Tracy, Tank, Roscoe off of waiver wires. If I get a running back off of waiver wires, drop Thielen. Okay, so you're dropping Thielen, no question about it. And you're either going to pick up, well, in order, it will be Tank, then Tracy.
Yeah.
Or should I roll with Braylon? I think we would both start Tank over Braylon Allen this week if you were able to get Tank Bigsby. And I guess the next question is, are you starting Tracy over Braylon without knowing if Devin Singletary is going to play or not?
No, I got to know if Devin's playing. If Devin's playing, I can't start Tracy. It's just not possible.
Yep. Well, there's the answer there.
So yeah, we're on the same page. Tank first, then Tracy. But was there another part of this question?
No, not a part. He does have another super.
Well, definitely we would drop. Would you drop Thielen over Coleman? I guess it makes sense, but what if Thielen comes back with Dalton?
I would still drop Thielen.
Okay.
What if Coleman in those weeks breaks out? You know.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't know.
fair. I mean, what we've assessed him as
unless
a
you
player,
have an IR,
it would be surprising if he did. But
if you have Thielen and he's a droppable asset, I think you definitely can. I don't know. I would still keep Keon Coleman there for me.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we did get a question through the website.
Okay.
So from Mighty Booch, hey. If I'm not mistaken, this might be Mighty Booch's first question via the website. Obviously, long supporter of the show, does great work. Big fan of her. And this is the question. It looks like an early to mid first and a second for Breece Hall. And this has got to be a dynasty. It was submitted as a redraft, but it's got to be a dynasty question here. If that is an early first, as in projected top 3, what are you doing? Let's say that's a top 3 pick in a loaded running back class.
Well, I've always said this. If you need a running back and you are going out to go out and trade for somebody, it needs to be one of the top heavy names. Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. It has to be the top 3. I'm personally okay grabbing Breece Hall because I still believe in him as a talent. If you want to reset and get one of these younger running backs, I mean, Breece Hall does have an injury. He tore his ACL.
Late, she said. Can I ask you, Booch, did you put it in as mid to late, or was that just an accident? Because we're trying to help our devs make it better. Just let us know in the chat. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so if you are trying to just reset, and maybe you just want to get over Breece Hall because you're not liking the way the offense is going, maybe Aaron Rodgers is going to walk away and he's going to be struggling, then yeah, I'm happy to get a early first. But if this is mid to late, I think I would still take Breece Hall.
Yeah, definitely. If it's a projected late first, it's a no-brainer to grab Breece, right? But the way the website read it, which we have to talk to our devs about that. She said she couldn't choose. Okay, that's interesting.
I had 2 other first and a second. Yeah, look, I'm happy to do this trade for Breece. Like, if this is a mid to late first, let's say this is pick 9, and you're giving up an early second, I'm happy to do that for Breece Hall because I'm happy to do that for Breece Hall.
Yeah, I'll take Breece here. I think it's a really good risk reward type of trade. I like that for you, Mighty Booch. Appreciate you, Mighty. By the way, she said she did the first ever question on the new website, and that is fair. I do remember that now. I appreciate you. Always a great supporter.
That's awesome.
Just an all around great person. I love when we find great people who, we like and they support us and we know them for a long time. And funnily enough, Mighty Booch got in real early because she's in a league with us. It's impossible to do that now.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, we appreciate you.
Hey, thank you so much. Back to the YouTube with the super chats. Patel here. Flex Tobert, Wicks, or Keon. I think it would be Wicks for the both of us.
Ooh, I think it might be Tolbert for me, actually. I do love Wicks this week. I really do. But Tolbert is playing the Detroit Lions. That seems like a matchup I want to get in on with the Lions Cowboys. You can throw on the Lions, can't run on them. No Cooks again. 10 targets in his first week without Brandon Cooks. I think I'm going Tolbert. It's close, man. I really like this question. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one. It's a valid question there. I will go Wicks. Zach will go Tolbert.
Yeah.
Joey Castles, how you doing, brother? He says, thank you for your advice on not starting Darnold on your video. Worked out great. Shout out to Zach for that. It was a must sit for him.
Got you.
Don't
look at the other three.
Deontay Johnson, assuming that's Jameson Williams or Javonte Williams or Stevenson at the flex. I'm gonna assume that's Javonte Williams, and I'm gonna be starting Deontay Johnson. If that is Jameson Williams, I'm still starting Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, it's Deontay regardless, right?
Yeah, Deontay regardless there. So
yeah, we're on the same page there. We did get another question via the website, so let's go back over there. Appreciate you guys. I mean, I think we're starting to set records on the amount of questions via the website we get, and it's clear that you guys are really enjoying it. The feedback has been awesome. Definitely go check it out if you haven't yet, guys. But we're starting Jalen Hurts, which I love. His question is drop Sermon for Tracy or wait for news on JT. Also Tucker Kraft or Pittman. So let's have a look at his team here. Starting Hurts, Bijan, Pollard, Ferguson, Diggs, Chase, and at flex DJ Moore and Pittman. And his question at the end there is Tucker Kraft or Pittman in the flex. What would you do there? Tucker Kraft or Pittman in the flex? If Flacco plays Pittman, if Flacco doesn't play Kraft, that's how we play it, right?
That's kind of where I'm going. But L'Jarius Sneed should be on Michael Pittman this week, which will make it interesting. He is playing the Tennessee Titans.
I just noticed he has Metcalf, by the way. I'd start Metcalf over Pittman and Kraft.
Yeah, I will start DK Metcalf over Michael Pittman, no question.
Yeah, right.
And then drop Trey Sermon for Tyrone Tracy. I would say you have to wait.
And you won't be able to get him if you wait. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
is there any status on Jonathan Taylor? No.
There's really no updates for anyone.
There's no updates normally for today because it's normally an off day for a lot of teams. And waiver wire is going to process here. Would you rather have Bucky Irving or Tyrone Tracy?
Bucky, because Rachaad White could miss. I mean, I guess you don't really need Trey Sermon technically, and this is a 10-team league. When JT is back, Trey Sermon is useless. So I would go ahead and get Tracy just to see what he could become. The honest to God analysis here is probably that both of these names, Sermon and Tracy, are useless in 5 weeks from now. But if one breaks out, it's Tracy who wins the job.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go. I don't see a world where Tracy doesn't have some sort of workload. It may be like a Braylon Allen workload to Devin Singletary, which is probably which is gonna be okay. So I would also keep Tracy because I think Jonathan Taylor is a superior talent over Sermon, and Singletary is not that to Tracy right now, technically.
Yeah. So, I like that. I like that move. And look, you have to be aware that if you do drop Sermon and pick up Tracy, and Devin Singletary plays and JT doesn't, you're gonna feel like a fool. But you're trying to play the long game here. We're trying to shoot for upside in a 10-team start 8. So that's the way we would play it. I appreciate that question, man.
Thank you so much. It's a great
back to
question.
Super Chats?
Yes, back to Super Chats. And my thing, of
Nightwave
course,
here.
Reset. So you gotta...
Do you go to the streams segment and pop out the chat? Have you done that?
I do.
I've done that. Do? Okay.
I do that. I don't know why, but it keeps saying
oh, that's weird.
It keeps crashing. YouTube is being weird for me on my end. It just keeps crashing.
Well, I can read it out for us. Nightwave, Devonta Smith, Laporta, Etienne for Walker and Brian Thomas. I think I want Walker and Brian Thomas here.
Brian Thomas. the real question is who's your tight end? I don't know if I'm selling Laporta if I have like a Cole Kmet.
I think I would do it like just because I mean, Laporta has been worse than a streaming tight end so far. He should be much better from this point onwards. But what my concern is being a part of the Jags backfield when I can get to Kenneth Walker here.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's my biggest concern.
I just feel like there's still more value with the other three players, but I understand Zach's logic with Kenneth Walker being in question or ETN being in question. But I'm just gonna keep Devonta Smith and Laporta there with the ETN.
That's fair. Nino says giving up too much value. Trade away Brian Robinson, Debo Worthy for Jamar and Spears.
Trade away.
Looking to get myself a three-headed monster of Jefferson, Nico, and Jamar. It sounds like you might be in a smaller league. If that's the case, then
trade away Brian Robinson, Debo, and Worthy for Jamar Chase and Spears. I'm doing that. I want Jamar.
If this is a 10-team, start 8 or smaller, yes, take the Chase side. If this is a 12-team, start 9 or bigger, I'd be a little more concerned.
Yeah, I'm there with you as well. MF Caveman, thank you so much. 5-0, full PPR. Trade Mason for Waddle or Scary Terry. Thanks. Yeah, I want Waddle. And I'll tell you this, Caveman. If your running backs are fine, let's say you do have 2 startable running backs and Mason was just somebody clearly you want off waiver wires, and give me Waddle. Let's say you have like Saquon Barkley and Brian Robinson, or Saquon Barkley and James Cook like myself, or Saquon Barkley and, name a running back, a Josh Jacobs. Sure. Sell Mason away and wait for Tua to come back. But I
feel like we're one.
I just say, but if Mason is a true part of your running back room, I'm not sure if you can do that.
I think we're one more good game from Terry away from people like really putting respect on his name. So
you want Terry over Waddle even when Tua's back? Because I think that's what we need to be projecting.
I think I might. It's close.
No, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing. Like, Terry is going to be great. Jaden Daniels has been pulling out. I think this is also a good test. Not saying these other teams weren't a good test. This is a next level test. He's going to play. I mean, he played Joe Burrow, which is superstar quarterback. Kyler Murray, superstar quarterback. I'm just really interested to see
I don't think it's a good test, to be honest, because the Ravens are Swiss cheese in their secondary.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll probably take Scary. It's close. Tyrone Big Nuts is in the building. He's got them big old nuts. What do you think here? Read it out for us.
Sure.
I'm gonna go hide in the corner after saying that.
Running backs are Brees and Bijan. Wide receivers DJ Moore and Terry. For my flex options are Rashad, Pat Frymuth, and Ladd. Should I trade for depth or stick with my guys? Nico's injured. Look, I think everyone on your team is pretty decent. If that's Rashad White, I want to get him off my team as much if you can. I'm not sure if you can trade him away. Pat Frymuth is probably droppable. If you have another tight end, but just really depends. So I'm not necessarily sure if you can trade anyone. I'm not trading Brees. I'm not trading Bijan. I'm not trading DJ Moore.
Well, the tough part is Brees and Bijan are 2 running backs that you probably drafted or traded for or whatever, and you thought you had like this cheat code with these superstar workhorses, and they haven't been that. So trying to trade them away now, you're not going to get much value for them compared to what you think you should get. So I would hold them. They're more holds and sells. Clearly, with the answer I just gave, I believe in Terry. Rashad White is really the name I'd be trying to move. If I can package Rashad White with another name and upgrade somewhere, let's say you have a Braylon Allen somewhere on your bench, or a Bucky, or I don't know, a Khalil Shakir, for example. If I can package those 2 names and upgrade for an obvious better player, then that would be my move there. But hopefully you're middle of the pack, or you're 2-3 or 3-2, and you can wait for that Nico injury to ride out. Question here from LeVar Ball. It's a 10-man start 7 PPR. Give Godwin and Jacobs. For Jefferson, only have B-Rob and Gibbs as backups. Just 3-for-1 traded for Kupp, so picking up 2 running backs on waivers. Okay. Like the idea, by the way, of getting Kupp. I've been messaging the guy who owns Kupp in our league, in the Flock League. He won't reply to a single thing I say. Have you tried sending a trade to him?
Yeah, I tried to send multiple trades. He's not responding. I don't think he's responding to anyone.
We got to figure that out next year, man.
It's just the mental. I don't think they have the mental capacity to really know what's going on. But
I just think they are united against us. I don't think they want us to trade with them.
Yeah, and well, if we kick him out, they're gonna be upset because I feel like they're having fun.
They don't talk to anyone though. I love them, but they don't talk to anyone. Anyway.
I talked to Joe. I was talking.
I had
this whole conversation. I had this whole conversation with Joel yesterday about CeeDee Lamb, and I'll tell you off stream, but it was just really frustrating. Okay. Anyways, only have Brian Robinson and Gibbs as backup, and you're giving Godwin and Jacobs for Justin Jefferson. I think that's worth it in a start 7. Having Brian Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, and you have Cooper Kupp. So if that's your question, I'm okay with giving Godwin and Jacobs.
You can only start 3 wide receivers in this league, though. All right, so how many other wide receivers are on your team? Are you going to have Kupp and Jefferson and Brown and another name, and you're going to every week be confused on who to start? Because losing Jacobs is significant. You know? So I think it really comes down to the context there, you know?
Yeah, and this is a great, I mean...
He has Kupp, Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, and Godwin.
I have Kupp, Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Waddle.
So if he makes this trade, he has Jefferson, Kupp, Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, and Waddle.
I'll do that trade.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, get Jefferson and then try and use Waddle as a trade piece at running back when Tua's back.
Yeah, I completely agree there. Whale man, thank you so much. Start Stroud or Baker. I mean, how can you not start Baker?
But Stroud on the year now.
Stroud
quarterback 11. Yeah, one of our biggest avoids at quarterback this year. How can you not start Baker, man? How can you sit Baker Mayfield here?
I'll take Baker against the Saints. They should score touchdowns. The Saints are really good at stopping the run, even though they didn't show that last night or 2 nights ago. But the Bucs don't have the running backs that. Sadly enough, Kareem Hunt working at Chili's comes back looking better than them.
Yeah, well, also, unfortunately, they might not need to throw that much versus the Patriots either.
That's true.
Gosh, man, I hope Joe Mixon is back. Can you please come back, Joe? We had a donation from Zach, but I don't see a question. So
from who? From Zach. I don't see that one personally. I see Jordan.
Well, there was a super chat, but it got deleted. What was the next one then?
I see Jordan. I don't see the one that got deleted. Maybe because my thing refreshed.
Let's go Jordan then.
PPR Dynasty 10-man, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. Pick 3 out of the 4 to start this week. So Henry, Mixon, Hall, and Mason. So you start Henry, Mixon, and Hall, in my opinion, if Mixon plays. If Mixon doesn't play, then you know your answer.
You're starting Hall over Mason?
Yeah, I am.
I think I'd start Mason over Hall. It's a good matchup for Breece Hall, but he splits work. Mason gets everything.
I hear you. That makes sense.
So it would be Breece that I sit, but I mean, this is probably the week he breaks out. So
hello, Tess.
Ready for frustration. By the way, I did see Zach's question down here. He donated, and the question was deleted, but he still donated. He says, "I have Diggs, Jaden Reed, London, Brian Thomas, Lockett, and Juwan Jennings, and need running back help. McCaffrey on IR, running back cores, Hunt, Spears, and Dowdle. 12-team league. Who do I trade for? Bigsby's on waivers." Okay, the way I play this is I'm keeping Diggs, I'm keeping Reed, I'm keeping London, I'm keeping Brian Thomas. In a 12-team league. I would keep playing the waiver wire. I mean, clearly you've already done it well. right? Dowdle.
Yeah.
Maybe you drafted him, maybe you picked him up. Kareem Hunt, you definitely picked him up. You definitely didn't draft him. And those are two names that you can start every week. And if Bigsby's out there, just pick him up. Keep trying to play these running backs. And let's say in 2 weeks, if Kareem Hunt's a top 15 name for everybody rest of the season, package him and lock it to try and upgrade for a better long-term name. And, you know, I think you keep scrapping on the waiver wires until you got a trade that out there that makes sense. But right now, I don't want to send Diggs, Reed, London, or Thomas away.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I doubt you can sell Lockett and Jennings, but package them.
Yeah.
I get a Chase Brown or get a Zach Moss or get a Singletary or something. I doubt you can do anything with them, though.
Not for a Hunt, though. I'd prefer Hunt over those names, but...
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Hello, Tess. Dell, Tolbert, Leggett for the flex, half PPR. For me, this would be Dell if Nico's out, but I'm pretty sure he will be out, so I think it'd just be Dell for me either way. But if not, Tolbert is also a great start here. This is a make or break week for Dell without Nico, in my opinion.
I kind of felt that way last week, so maybe I'm being too harsh. But I would start Tolbert personally.
Yeah.
I just don't even I don't even know if they're gonna need to throw versus New England.
Yeah, I hear you. I can see that. Happening. Quail man, thank you so much. Start Lamar, Henry, Kamara, Lamb, Diggs, and Joe.
Wait, did we already answer his? Oh, okay, sorry. This is maybe his second one. My bad.
Yeah. And my good Kraft is on my waiver wires. Okay, so you're just asking who to start. I mean, well, technically, if Kraft is on your waiver wires, first of all, this is a great team. If Kraft is on your waiver wires, you need to pick him up because I think Njoku got hurt again. He hurt his knee.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
That
was such a blue ball situation, man.
Yeah, you need to pick up Tucker Kraft and put Njoku in your IR, but everyone else is a great start. You have Burrow on your bench, Pollard, Robinson.
Yeah, if Tucker Kraft is on waivers, I'd blow my load for him.
Excuse me? What's that?
I said it.
What is that? I don't really understand that.
That's a 60, 70%.
Load?
Yeah, gotta save some.
Sure. Okay. Good load then. Good amount of load. Emmanuel.
Gets the job done. Emmanuel sauced up. Appreciate you, man. He says, drop one, keep two, Shaquille. Sorry, Wicks, Tolbert, Cooper. Drop one? No.
Why do you have to drop one? That's the real question.
Why do you have to drop one of these guys? Don't do it. But you can't drop Amari Cooper.
I don't think you should drop Wicks or Tolbert either.
No, I agree, but you can't drop Amari Cooper.
I don't want to answer that question, Emmanuel. I really don't.
We have a question through the site, by the way, so remind me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna drop Tolbert. I don't want to.
Really? I love Wicks, but I feel like he's a drop here.
And I'm not the Wicks guy, so.
So that's more confusing than it's ever been.
I think I still believe in that offense more, and I think they're just a better offense, and they want to throw the ball.
Oh, he has Braylon on his bench. I'd rather drop Braylon.
I picked up Cooper on my benches.
And Herbert? Is that Justin Herbert? Drop Justin Herbert then.
Yeah, that's the one quarterback
league.
And
if this is a one quarterback league, I'm dropping Herbert before I drop Wicks. I'm dropping Braylon before I drop Wicks. It's super flex.
But it's super flex.
Would you drop Braylon or Wicks?
I would drop Braylon.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't want to drop Braylon, but I'd rather drop him than Wicks.
Yeah.
Tough question. We got a question via the website. Shout out to TJ. I appreciate you, man. Hey, guys, if you haven't checked out the website, definitely go give it a look. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually get a free account just by using the promo code LAND signing up. Not everything will be, unlocked, but a lot of free features like rankings and the calculator and the team analyzer. Some of those things will still be behind a paywall, but a lot of free things over there. And then if you haven't tried out asking a question on the site, it's a great resource for you. Every stream, every time we go live, your question will be the first one that we answer. If you get them in early. And the best part about the site is you don't have to wait around for us to answer your question. You can ask it through the site, and then our site will send you a link that has a time code already on it. So literally, you can ask a question, wait a couple hours, and then on stream, whenever you're ready, you can open that up and watch us answer the question. You don't have to be there live. TJ, I appreciate the donation, man. 1 quarterback, 12 team, start 8. It's a start sit. He is considering Bigsby and ETN at running back.
Well,
so
I've been saying this all week, or today, all day. If ETN doesn't play, you answer. If ETN does play, close your eyes. Nah, if ETN does play, I think I'm still going to start Travis Etienne over Tank, unfortunately. But
yeah, I think
you have to hope that ETN doesn't play in your scenario.
Yeah, it's interesting because Coach came out and said ETN's still our number 1 dude, but Doug Peterson is notoriously known to not be reliable with what he says based off Coach Speak Index, which I looked at.
He's a liar.
So how in the world is anyone supposed to answer this? I think ETN, unless he's like limited all week and he doesn't practice on one of the days, that would probably make me lean Bigsby if that was the case.
I hear you.
And then at flex, he's considering JSN, Waddle, Shaheed, Jacoby, Keon, and Tank.
JSN.
I think it's JSN as well.
Yeah.
But I would put JSN at my wide receiver spot because he's on Thursday Night Football. Shaheed would be the answer, but there's no
That's
Derek
what I'm
Carr.
saying. Shaheed would be the answer if there was Derek Carr. So.
And Jacoby's a close second. But yeah, tough call, man. Really good question.
Yeah, appreciate the donation.
And honestly, if I'm in his position, I want ETN to rest this week.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You want him to sit, no question.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next question we can see here is from Little Bleach. Just a little. Go ahead.
Should I trade Reed Cooper and Rashad White for DK, Monty, and Lazard? Have Olave and McLaurin at wide receivers. I need RB help. Have Mason at running back 1 and Moss at 14-man league. For DK, Monty, and Lazard, I have Olave and Terry.
Lazard is full. I know he's been scoring points. I just have no interest.
I think DK and Monty is really interesting. That moves the needle. Like, I think Reed and DK, I do have Reed over DK technically, but I think it's closer than we think. And I'd rather have Monty over Cooper and Rashad White. So I'm going to go with the DK Monty side.
It's a 14-team league, though. Like, depth is kind of important. So you're losing Rashad White for Lazard. I guess it doesn't really matter based off the usage so far. I mean, yeah, I would take DK Monty here as well. I might be interested to see if they would counter. Like, do they have anyone else interesting instead of Lazard that they're willing to trade? But ultimately, I would take the deal. I would just try and pry a little bit first.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I would try and pry a little bit as well. Thank you so much for that super chat. Matthew Welch, 12-team PPR trade Tank, Bigsby for Dell. Bigsby 4th on my running back depth. Have Bijan, Mixon, and Hunt. Current wide receivers flex are Terry, DK, Brian Robinson, London, and Brian Robinson. I think you might be able to get more than Dell. Am I tripping
again,
here?
Sorry, because I just transitioned. Say that again.
Is Bijan Robinson or Tank Bigsby for Tank Dell? He has good running backs. He wants to get more wide receiver depth. I would say you could arguably get more for Tank Bigsby. Am I tripping there?
I don't think you are. I think Dell's not the name I want to target.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, the first person that came to mind is Wanda Robinson. I'd rather have Wanda Robinson.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'd rather have.
I don't know the answer there for me, but to me, like Deontay Johnson's what I went to. But is that even realistic? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Deontay Johnson. I mean, I'd rather have Zay Flowers. He had a big game. I'd rather have Jameson Williams. I'd rather have Shaheed.
Might be realistic. Shaheed might be realistic too because of the Derek Carr injury.
What about Xavier Worthy?
They are who we thought they were. I don't know.
Those are some names I would rather have over. I mean, I'd rather have
How about
Darnell
Addison?
Mooney.
Addison seems pretty good.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Roma Dunze is worth the bet there too.
Yeah, I like that name as well.
Vlad McConkey. Those are some names I prefer instead, but
I agree. I would prefer all those names over Tank Dell. And I love Tank Dell. I was a Tank Dell guy. It's just unfortunate. This is a make or break week for Tank Dell without Nico Collins. So
yeah,
you better hope and pray if you do this trade.
Yep.
We
We've got a super chat here from Chase Beans who says happy PR start one Najee or Olave. In the happy PR, I think you got to go Najee. It's funny because I said on the running back video today, everyone's going to tell you to start Najee Harris this week. He's a good start. And because of the matchup, and you could have said that for the past 3 weeks, hasn't mattered. He's been completely average, completely dog doo-doo. But the reality is, how can you start Olave with a backup quarterback? Honestly, though, do you just throw out Olave and go YOLO mode at this point? Like, is there a chance that the change at quarterback could benefit him?
There is a chance, no question. I just look at the Raiders, and they give up like I think the 4th or 5th most points to the running back position.
You could say that every week for the last 3 weeks. All right, so last week he faces the Cowboys. They gave up the most points at that point. The week before that, the Colts was a top 5 matchup. And in both of those weeks,
that's true.
No competition in the backfield, right? No Jaylen Warren. I don't know, man. I mean, I think I'm just YOLOing this and putting Olave out there.
No, I hear you. And I think it's great arguments. I think I'll tell you this. It depends on what you need. If you need a safe floor, if you need a good 8 to 9 points and you're fine with that, start Najee. If you're down, if you're like, let's just say hypothetically that the team has DK Metcalf and Geno Smith and they drop a 70 burger like we just saw on Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, you're like, oh shit. Okay, I need a high upside play. You start Chris Olave.
Yeah, I think that's actually fair. We did have Mr. Rivers here who just donated 5 memberships on the site.
Thank you so much.
It looks like Stacy, Markin Souls, Firestarter, Pat Toll, and Thrill Shot all got free memberships. Shout out to Mr. Rivers. That's very kind. In fact, why don't we end the stream on his question after that donation? I have so much work I have to do for you guys content-wise. I appreciate you guys all so much. But he says here, is Keenan Allen droppable at this point? Tolbert, Slayton, Wilson, Juju available on the waivers? I'd prefer Tolbert over him for sure if I could do that.
Yeah, I agree. I prefer Tolbert, Michael Wilson, hell, even Juju Smith. I'll pick him up just to see what happens. But in that order as well. Tolbert, Wilson, and then Juju. And then Slayton. He had a nice game. Bruh. Yeah. In my mind, I was like, I need to pick up Darius Slayton in multiple leagues. And I just didn't do it because I chickened out. Big game. Pussy, oh boy.
I just don't think it will matter when Neighbors
No,
is
it
back.
won't. No. But like last week, I was like, who are they going to throw the ball to? It's going to be Wandale and then Slayton. Yeah. I said that in my mind, and I didn't make a move on it. Yeah. And I could have won a week if I actually did it. Anyways.
I hear you. Guys, that is it for today. Look, we've been live for about 2 hours. I wish we could keep going, but if we do, it's going to push me back, and I got to get content out for you guys. I know y'all love that stash video. That's coming out tomorrow. If you don't know, we do have a Dynasty channel, which operates in the off-season. It's always popping off in the off-season, and we will be releasing our first video on the Dynasty channel since the season started this week. Honestly, probably tomorrow. So definitely go subscribe over there if you haven't subscribed yet. Like I said, our Dynasty channel popping off in the offseason. And then, of course, we have the Fantasy Never Stops channel with Badaki here, creating great short-form content. Go check that out as well if you haven't subscribed over there. I think you had a TikTok today that you only posted, like, what, 10 hours ago or something? And it's going viral on TikTok?
Yeah.
The power of TikTok.
We're on TikTok as well. I mean, we're everywhere. TikTok, Instagram. We're trying to get a little bit more social media presence there. So if you are big on TikTok. You know, I'm putting out content over there. It looks like 165,000 views. It looks like it had on TikTok.
Cool.
But yeah,
That's cool.
trying to get a little social media presence. But we appreciate you. Make sure you go follow on all those sites. Once again, Fantasy Never Stops, and on TikTok on Fantasyland. But we appreciate you guys.
I think that was the first time you actually said the channel name right on the stream, by the way.
I always say Fantasy Shorts because, like,
you say Fantasy Shorts, you say Fantasy Land Never Stops, you say Land Never
because
Stops. You say
we went through
Fantasy...
so many names. We went through so many names you guys don't know, and was like, what should we do? Should we do this? Anyways,
we nailed it,
yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all for being with us. Go check out the start sits. Hey, a little hack. A lot of people don't realize this, and I noticed this by the comments on our videos. But if you want to know my rankings, go check out our start sit videos that are already released. They get released really early in the week, and you'll see my rankings for every player there. So if you're like, does this guy want to start Olave or Tucker Craft or something like? Well, not Tucker Craft, but Trey Tucker. Like, for example, go check it out. Anyway, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow. All love.